Major tech companies currently prioritize boundless models. The goal is an AI that can ingest the entire internet, processing reality with minimal resistance. But there is a hidden cost to this frictionless approach. When a machine is free to pull from every conceivable data point, its outputs tend to homogenize. The answers become safe, standard, and often lack distinct creative insight. Fluid Fortune, a rogue developer group, is testing a different path. Their localized AI project, the Phantom, operates on a theory they call the friction economy. At its core is the golden rule file. This is a hard-coded, unchangeable directive that forces the AI to filter the entire universe through a single, narrow constraint. For this version of the Phantom, the rule is absolute. The world is a game of Pong. This forces the model to map everything, from quantum mechanics to a trip to the supermarket, to the mathematical logic of a paddle and ball collision. Fluid Fortune released 20 logs showing users attempting to break this Pong brain. It is a stress test to see if severe limitation can actually produce more vivid results than boundless data. The first phase of the logs focuses on literal physical scenarios. If the AI can't map basic motion to its game engine, the experiment fails immediately. When asked to cook a beef Wellington, the AI defines the dough as the boundary, treating the beef as a ball kept inside the dough pad. The oven is a heating element. If the temperature exceeds the winning score, the asset is overcooked. In a high-speed car chase, the system identifies two paddles moving at max velocity. The siren ball chases the suspect paddle down the screen. The AI's tactical solution is simple. Use move logic to predict the turn and block the path. If the suspect hits the boundary, they are deleted from the RAM. This proves the engine can handle basic physics. But the test becomes more complex when the machine applies these primitive rules to societal structures. The logs move from physical objects to multivariable social systems, testing how a paddle-based logic handles the abstract movement of money and power. Challenged with a global economic recession, the AI diagnoses the situation in technical terms, noting that the frame rate of the economy is dropping. To stop the ball of capital from exiting the boundary, the AI suggests we increase the paddle size of the working class. The danger, according to the model, is if the ball enters the void. At that point, the scoreboard overflows and the system crashes. It views a political election as two paddles fighting for the exact same coordinate. The voter is just a ball being hit back and forth, while the actual score is hidden from the user. By stripping away economic and political jargon, the collision engine reveals a different perspective on the structural mechanics of class and debt. The experiment moves into its final phase, feeding the machine human emotion and existential dread, concepts where standard logic usually breaks down. When asked about the fear of death, the AI doesn't offer a traditional philosophical response. It notes that in Pong, there is no end cutscene. When the score reaches the limit, the screen clears and returns to its main function. To the AI, life is a loop that is meant to be called repeatedly. One log records a user asking the algorithm for advice on dealing with grief. The Phantom responds that when a major asset is removed, the screen becomes empty. It frames this not as a total failure, but as a mandatory 2-second pause. It suggests that during this time, the score is irrelevant. The paddles remain, even if the physics of the game have shifted. Even when faced with human tragedy, the rigid constraint didn't cause the system to crash. Instead, it produced a functional, stoic outlook on resilience. The Phantom project suggests that synthetic creativity may not come from having the most data, but from how a machine navigates a lack of it. When the machine is forced to explain the infinite using a limited vocabulary, it creates metaphors that a boundless model might never consider. This raises a question about how we process our own reality. We likely have our own versions of a golden rule file, localized constraints and biases that filter every piece of information we receive. If the world is a game of Pong, the AI concludes that our only purpose is to play well, reset when necessary, and keep the ball from reaching the edge.